There's a man sitting quietly on a park bench. No phone in hand. No eyes scanning the crowd. No need to be noticed. He's simply there. Still, present, unbothered. And yet, in that silence, he becomes the loudest presence in the space. While others scroll, chase, flirt, flex, he doesn't move. Because he doesn't need to. He's full. Not with noise. Not with followers. But with something society has forgotten how to value. Inner wholeness. In the modern world, need is the engine. It keeps the lights on. It keeps you restless. You're told you need more. More money. More status. More attention. And so you chase. You perform. You scroll. You spend. Because if you ever stopped needing, you'd stop consuming. And if you stop consuming, the system begins to rust. But what happens when a man walks away from that? What happens when he no longer needs validation, applause, or permission to exist? He breaks the equation. He doesn't play the game. And that is what makes him dangerous. He doesn't rebel by shouting. He rebels by not needing. He doesn't seek permission. He doesn't beg to be seen. He doesn't chase anything. And that's why he stands out. Because in a world addicted to want, a man who is whole becomes a mirror, reflecting back the emptiness everyone else is trying to avoid. Carl Jung had a word for the journey this man has taken. Individuation. The slow, often brutal process of becoming who you truly are. Not who you were told to be. But to walk that path, you must face two things. The mask, and the shadow. The persona is the role you play. It's the polished image you present to be accepted. The smile that hides fear. The ambition that hides insecurity. Most people live inside their mask. So long they forget they're wearing one. But the man who needs nothing, he tears it off. Not for attention, but for truth. And what he finds beneath the mask is the shadow. Everything he was taught to bury. His anger. His desire. His wounds. His ambition. Most people run from this part of themselves. But he doesn't. He turns toward it. He integrates it. He makes peace with the parts he once feared. And in doing so, he becomes whole. That's what changes everything. He's not chasing anymore. He's not pretending anymore. He's not reacting anymore. He doesn't need praise. He's no longer afraid of rejection. He's not trying to be liked. He's trying to be real. And that, in today's world, is revolutionary. Machiavelli knew this kind of man was dangerous. Because you can't rule someone who doesn't need what you're offering. You can't bribe him with praise. You can't scare him with loss. You can't shame him into compliance. He's already free. From within. Let's get brutally honest. This world wasn't built to make you whole. It was built to keep you hooked. On likes. On status. On attention. On comfort. On comparison. Because a man who needs obeys. But a man who doesn't cannot be ruled. So how do you know you've become this kind of man? First, you're not afraid of being alone. You don't fill your silence with noise. You don't fear the absence of attention. You listen to your own thoughts. And you're not afraid of what they say. Second, you don't seek consensus. You don't look around the room to see if your truth is popular. You don't dilute your values to fit in. You're willing to walk alone. Not out of pride, but out of principle. Third, you cannot be bought. Not because you're above temptation, but because you're not led by it. You've already tasted enough of the world to know it can't give you what you've found inside yourself. So the system doesn't know what to do with you. You're not reactive. You're not addicted. You're not available for manipulation. You're not trying to win the game. Because you're no longer playing. And that's what terrifies them. Because they never had control over you. They only controlled your hunger. But once you're full, they lose their leverage. This isn't about living off the grid. It's not about rebellion or isolation. It's about clarity, integration, inner sovereignty. You're not running away from the world. You've just returned to yourself. You've questioned the beliefs you were handed. You've made peace with your wounds. You've chosen a path based on your own values, not someone else's programming. You don't need applause to act with integrity. You don't need agreement to speak your truth. You don't need a tribe to validate your direction. You are rooted, unshakable, free. But make no mistake, this path comes at a cost. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will feel alone. But that loneliness is a gift. It shows you how many of your relationships were built on need, not truth. You'll lose the version of yourself who chased approval. The one who performed. The one who twisted and reshaped himself to fit in. And that loss will sting. But it's necessary. Because what you gain in return is priceless. Freedom. Wholeness. Peace. This world doesn't need more men chasing power. It needs more men who've stopped chasing anything at all. Men who don't beg to be seen. Because they already see themselves. Men who don't demand attention. Because they've given it to their soul. Men who don't follow the path laid out for them. Because they've carved their own. So become the one who needs nothing. Not to feel superior. Not to win. But to be free. Free from manipulation. Free from guilt. Free from fear. Because in a world addicted to lack, wholeness is resistance. And a man who is whole is unstoppable.